Weldon Dodd of Kanji discusses mobile device management and a new partnership that will enhance their capabilities. This is MacVoices. Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by Backblaze. MacVoices listeners get a fully featured no-risk free trial at backblaze.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we get to catch up with an old friend this time. It's been an embarrassingly long time since I talked to Weldon Dodd. He is now Senior Vice President of Kandji, and he's here with some enterprise-related news that Apple users or enterprise Apple users will definitely be interested in. Weldon, it's great to see you. It's been an embarrassingly too long a time.
Yeah, it has been a while, Chuck, but great to see you as well.
Yeah, so how's everything going at Kanji? Can you explain a little bit about what Kanji is? And obviously your role as Senior Vice President says that you're calling some of the shots.
Yeah, maybe some. We'll see. But yeah, Kanji, we're an Apple device management and security platform. So we compete directly with solutions like Jamf Pro and Mosel and Workspace ONE that your listeners might be familiar with. But I joined Kanji about 4 years ago after we raised our seed round, and it's really just been an amazing ride since then. So we now have thousands of customers, hundreds of thousands of devices, approaching millions of devices under management, and we've been really gratified with the response we've gotten from the industry around offering a fresh take on device management. Kanji's really polished in a number of different ways in terms of offering a built-in catalog of applications that can be automatically deployed and patched for the entire Mac estate, iOS as well. We have a real heavy focus on automation because, one of our frustrations for myself and the other people who joined early was we had been doing work with other MDM solutions. I used to work with Apple Professional Services and some other opportunities like that. And our frustration was we would go into customers and deploy MDM, and we would solve the same problems over and over again, every single time. And it was, it's a little bit frustrating to realize that I've got to go write this script or do this thing, and it's not built into the product. And so I've got to do that yet again at the next customer. And at some point, we just stopped and asked, well, why doesn't the product just do that? And that's kind of what we set out to solve when we started Kanji and have been building the product around that philosophy of the customer, the Mac admin in this case, wants to get a job done, and the tool should just do that for them. And so far, it's been working pretty well.
I feel like more and more people are aware of mobile device management. I'm not sure if it's because the companies they work for are tightening their grip just a little bit on using personal devices or even using corporate devices, or whether it's just the world we live in, that security constantly is rising to the top. And any thoughts on whether it's one, the other, or both?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but certainly there's a few key factors that have come in over the last few years. So we can't ignore the pandemic and the effect that that had on remote work and the ability, the need for employers to be able to offer to their staff the ability to work from anywhere at any time to get their job done. That also coincides with the rise of SaaS applications. And so most companies, a lot of their work is being done on the cloud. They're connecting to web applications in order to get their job done. And now security has shifted from, what used to be the network perimeter as the defensible perimeter of corporate applications to the cloud. And so it's no longer sufficient to say, okay, because we have corporate owned devices inside of our network, on premise, and we can defend our network infrastructure, that's not enough anymore. The device is not inside your network perimeter. It's at home. It's at a coffee shop, a hotel lounge, somewhere else. And the applications that they're connecting to or the resources that they're connecting to are not inside the corporate network either. They're hosted on Amazon AWS or GCP or Microsoft Azure, some other infrastructure like that. And so that endpoint now is really the focus for corporate security. That has become the perimeter that needs to be defended. So with Apple devices specifically, mobile device management, the MDM protocol that Apple has put in place, is the single most important lever that organizations have to control the configuration and security of their devices. So if you want to make sure that a user can't accidentally install an untrusted certificate or connect to an untrusted website or install untrusted applications, etc., like MDM has the security controls to be able to manage that security posture for the device. Now, in addition, there's a bunch of other options that are needed. So obviously your basic security controls, those come from MDM, but then the ability to install applications, offer users a catalog of applications to install that they need to make sure that those applications are up to date and patched. You want to talk security, unpatched or applications that haven't been updated yet. That's a major source of security risk. And so just being able to make sure all the applications are up to date, the OS itself is up to date, guiding users to make sure that gets done in a nice, friendly way, which is what Kanji does, allows organizations to feel a lot more comfortable that their Mac estate, their iOS estate, those fleet of devices are up to date, managed properly, secured, and you have information that you need to make good decisions about managing your IT infrastructure.
Before we get to the news, I want to make clear, is Kanji just Apple tech, or do you cross over onto the other side?
We are an Apple-focused company. So we provide our solution for macOS, iOS, iPadOS, Apple TV, soon to be Vision OS, I'm sure. But we do not offer a solution for Windows or Android. And that's very deliberate. So part of it is, the background of the folks who founded Kanji is very focused on Apple. We love Apple devices. That's what we've been doing. My whole career for the last 30 years has been centered around Apple devices, and there's similar stories from other people on the team. But it's also a deliberate choice that we really think it's important to offer a best of breed solution to cover the platform. The trend that we're seeing in the industry today is that employers want to offer a choice program. So if a user feels more comfortable using Windows, they can get a Windows laptop. If they feel more comfortable with an Apple device, they can choose to use a Mac at work. Our position is that the user chose an Apple device for a reason. Not only do they like the platform, they're more productive on it, but they're used to the conventions, the interface, the way that it works. And a native solution, a solution like Kanji that's built to be native on the platform, is going to deliver the kind of experience that the user wanted when they picked a Mac for their laptop at work. So some of the solutions that offer coverage for multiple platforms, there's a tendency to devolve to a least common denominator kind of experience. For a lot of these orgs, 80-85% of their business is Windows, and that's where 80-85% of the development dollars go. And the experience on the Mac platform or iOS can be an afterthought. And we wanted to really put the Apple experience for the end user as well as the admin, but we wanted to put that user experience front and center. and create something really nice that felt native. Kanji was the first to market with active management of Apple devices using Apple's new declarative device management protocol, which is the latest iteration of MDM and the latest technology from Apple. And that allows us, for example, to deliver a OS update experience that fits in directly with the, let's say, native experience of running system update as a user. And so it's great. From an end user perspective, it looks the same. You're prompted through the same path, you see the same dialog boxes. All of that looks and feels just exactly like you would expect on an Apple device. That directly leads to increased adoption and better usage of the platform, and frankly generates the results that companies are looking for when they chose to offer Mac as a choice in the first place. So it's a long answer, but something I'm actually really passionate about, which is that if you're going to offer Apple devices as a choice to use at work, then it's really important to select tools that deliver the experience that users wanted when they selected that platform.
I think it's a great point, because you don't want either side to become the second-class citizen in your organization from an MDM standpoint or a security standpoint. Both really have to have parity. And so the fact that you focus on the Apple world obviously means that you focus on the Apple world, and you can make it right in there with the best of class, so that if I adopt Kanji, I don't have to worry about, well, they also do that other thing over there, and they might be paying more attention to that. Today's MacVoices is supported by Backblaze. MacVoices listeners get a fully featured, no-risk free trial at backblaze.com/MacVoices. Let me make a few things perfectly clear. I am a Backblaze user. I have been a Backblaze user for years. I've used Backblaze to protect my data personally, and I've used Backblaze to protect my data professionally. In all that time, Backblaze has never let me down when I needed to recover something. Backblaze has also never interfered with me getting what I needed to get done. I've introduced plenty of people to Backblaze, and now I want to introduce you. I'll be telling you a lot of facts about Backblaze, but let's start with the first question you will ask. How much? Backblaze is $99 a year for unlimited cloud backup. That's unlimited cloud backup. Think about all the data stored on your computer right now. Precious photos, tax records, banking information, work projects, personal projects, and more. Isn't that worth taking precautions to back that data up off-site? If or when the need arises, you can access that data from anywhere in the world using the Backblaze web app, iOS app, or Android app. Or in the event of a catastrophic issue, you can get all your data back quickly on a hard drive shipped directly to you. Just send the drive back within 30 days and get a full refund for it, or keep the drive. There are so many things to appreciate about Backblaze, and so many benefits. For now, as a MacVoices listener or viewer, you can get a fully featured, no-risk free trial at backblaze.com/MacVoices. Go there, play with it, and start protecting yourself from potential bad times. Start today. backblaze.com/MacVoices. Thanks to Backblaze for protecting my data and for their support of MacVoices. We're really here, though, to talk about a new partnership, I guess, that you have. And so I'll let you tell us what that partnership is and how it affects what Kanji offers to customers.
Yeah, so the announcement this week is about an integration with ServiceNow. And ServiceNow is a service automation platform. It does ticketing and automated workflows. And as part of that solution, there is a configuration management database that holds asset information. So an IT organization or a company can hold information not only about the users from their corporate directory and who their managers are and all of that, but they can also hold information about the devices that have been assigned to them. So the basics like serial number and other details of what year model it is and how long they've had it, that can be connected with the purchase order so that you can track what the refresh cycle should be and when Apple Care might expire and some of those other details that are related to the device itself and when it was acquired, but that can be connected with the user. Now, this opens up a lot of possibilities. This connection between Kanji and ServiceNow allows for the up-to-date information about the device to be available in ServiceNow for all those workflows and tickets. So at a basic level, what that means is if someone opens a request in ServiceNow, it's very easy to attach the information about their device, to that ticket or to that request. And it just saves time, and it means you don't have to go and open up another web tab, right, and log into Kanji and go look up some of those details that can be just immediately accessible to the staff in ServiceNow. So that's what that integration is about. We're excited about where it can go from here and the other things that we'll be able to do in partnership with ServiceNow. But I'll pause there, right, just to take a step back and look at really the shape of IT departments today. The power of automation cannot be overstated. So the situation that we have is lots of SaaS applications that are available in the cloud. Access to those applications is granted through a cloud identity provider. It could be Azure AD, Google Workspace, Okta, those are the big ones, but there's also, OneLogin, Ping Identity, Jump Cloud, etc. The access to that application is through that IDP. There may be software that needs to be installed on the device, a native application for iOS or sometimes Mac OS, not just a web app that you get through a browser. And so what can happen with this collaboration between Kanji and ServiceNow or other IT service automation solutions and a cloud identity provider is that offers the opportunity to create a workflow where the user can request access to an application. Let's say Adobe Creative Cloud or something like that. There's a cost associated to it. A license needs to be associated with that user. It needs to be approved probably by their manager and maybe by finance and so on. All of that workflow for approvals is handled really well in a tool like ServiceNow. So you can request it, goes to the manager for approval, gets forwarded to finance for approval. Someone assigns a license to that user. The last step is to install Creative Cloud onto the device, to have Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever actually installed on their Mac. And so you could imagine, okay, the final result is a ticket that goes to IT, and someone now has to log into Kanji and assign the application to, say, Chuck's device, so Illustrator or Photoshop or whatnot is installed. In the world that we are looking towards, the end result of that step is once it's gone through these approvals, the user is added to a group in the identity provider through an automation. And then Kanji is already configured to automatically install the Adobe apps for any device that is associated with the user in that group. So now the end result of all this workflow is the user gets added to a group. There is no step to go into Kanji to do any additional work because it's already set up that any user in this group gets the Adobe applications installed. And so that what that means is, that final step of a ticket of someone having to go do something and click around and finish something and go back and say, yeah, it's done. We've just removed all of that work. The end result is the user gets moved into a group in the identity provider. The automation is already set up. Kanji automatically installs the application on the next check-in, and that's all done. So we really think there's a lot of power in this ability to connect applications through these integrations and through automation to allow IT departments to do more with less. And that doesn't necessarily mean a reduction in staff, but it means that IT departments can get to the work that really helps drive the organization forward. Um, Installing applications, patching applications is important, as we've mentioned, but it's not critical to the mission of the business. And so I'm really excited about being able to offer IT administrators, Mac admins, this opportunity to get time back so that they can really focus on contributing to the core mission of their business, adding value to what the organization does, and improving their ability to impact wherever they work, and not just fiddle around with installing and patching applications and all the busy work that goes with managing devices. Kanji can take care of that.
So it's interesting. I'm listening to you talk about it from the admin side. I'm sitting here thinking about it from the customer side and how frustrating it is to call up for tech support, whether it's a corporate IT operation or something else. And okay, I have a Mac. Well, what Mac do you have? What year do you have? What's the serial number? What's the configuration? You spend 10, 15 minutes going through all this before you actually get to start talking about the issue or the problem. So I don't, you mentioned reduction in staff. I don't see this as a reduction in staff issue. I see this as a greatly improved customer experience. That's going to make me more likely to want to cooperate with the MDM as opposed to some of the things I see right now on the user side of the corporate world where MDM is like, oh, really? Do I have to do that? Because now you're going to hobble my phone or my iPad or my Mac. And so yeah, I love the idea, but also if I put now the admin hat on, yes, of course, it's going to mean that I don't have to sit there going through that script, writing things down and trying to cross-reference it. I can be kind of prepared already to address what's going on or at least have an idea. So this would seem to be a win-win on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the details of this integration is that the communication between ServiceNow and Kanji is bidirectional. If any change is made in Kanji, that change gets pushed into ServiceNow almost immediately. So the advantage to customers that use these two solutions, it's not so much the volume of changes that get pushed through the system on a day-to-day basis, but it's the fact that any change will be immediately reflected. So when that user does reach out for help or support, you can rest assured that the agent or the staff member who is responding to that request, they're going to see the latest information in ServiceNow. And so there's not going to be that awkward back and forth of, well, hey, the last update I have is from a month ago when someone manually typed in the info over here, or it's going to take me a few minutes to log into this other system and go confirm the information. Instead, all of that is immediately available and so that you can take action on the request right away, remove some of the friction, provide a better experience to both parties.
I want to be respectful of your time, but I kind of have to ask. So, how will this impact your example of the Adobe Creative Cloud is perfect. How does this impact the updates that come through for those? Is it something that gets automatically done behind the scenes in a way that you can't really do natively with the Mac OS, or does it allow me as a user to say, look, I'm in the middle of something I'm in the middle of a Zoom call with Weldon. I really don't want to do an update right now.
Yeah.
How is that working?
Yeah, it's working great. So we've really pioneered this approach of having a built-in catalog of titles that are fully managed and patched by Kanji. So we have over 150 different titles in our catalog, most of the major applications that people would use. And our customers can select for those to be automatically installed or available through self-service. But anytime that application is installed on a device, no matter how it got there, if it's part of that list of titles the customer selected, if we see it, we will automatically update it. So Kanji is constantly checking in with all of the different publishers to make sure that we have the latest updates available. As soon as we see something out of date, we'll download and cache that installer onto the machine, and then we'll prompt the user if necessary. If the application is open, right, we'll prompt them and tell them that, hey, your administrator has chosen to enforce a deadline to update this application, and you'll need to quit in order to run this update. And if, like you said, if you're in the middle of a call or middle of doing something, the user can choose to defer that update. They'll get reminded, right, as the deadline goes, but they do have the ability to defer for an hour at a time and push it off just a little bit. But it means the user has some flexibility and they have a nice interface that guides them through what needs to happen. But also from the administrator side, you can rest easy knowing that, hey, look, there might be a little delay. You know, if Chuck has Zoom open at the moment, he can defer it for a few hours. But I can rest easy knowing that it is going to get updated. And I don't have to do any additional work in order to make that happen. I've just configured my policy in Kanji, and now we're taking care of making sure the latest update is available, ready to install, and that installation is going to happen with the user's help, or if necessary, if they put it off indefinitely, like we'll take a more forceful tone with making sure that the application is updated, but the administrator has some control over that experience, and they can find a good balance between making it friendly for the user, but also making sure that it actually gets done.
I really like that because you're respecting both sides. You're respecting the user because they're responsible for getting their job done, but you're also respecting the admin because they too are responsible for getting their job done. And sometimes, you know, the updates are minimal and they're not critical, and then other times it's like, yeah, we need to get this updated 2 hours ago. So I like that a lot.
Both sides of the equation. I'm sure they wish the balance was more towards their side from time to time, but we're really trying to find the right balance so that we can serve both sides of the equation.
And both sides need to respect it. You know, I mean, I'd like to think that we're helping educate both sides as to what the requirements are and why one side feels they don't want to be interrupted. The other side feels like, yeah, I need to interrupt you potentially right now because it's really important. So,
yeah.
Well, where's the best place for us to send folks to learn more about Kanji and also this new partnership?
Yeah, the best place to go is kanji.io/start, and that will give you an introduction to Kanji and let you sign up for a free trial and see if it's right for you and your organization. From the kanji.io homepage, there's links to our blog and our updates and other places where you can find out more information. And then if you're part of the MacAdmin Slack at macadmins.org, you can find out more there, but I'd encourage you to find the Kanji channel in MacAdmin Slack and talk to customers that are using it. You'll find a few of the Kanji people, including myself, in that channel, and you can reach out and say hi.
Great. Thank you so much. It's great to see you. I hope this is it's not 4 years plus again between times. You're welcome back anytime if there's more to talk about Kanji or just mobile device management and security. You're always welcome.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks, Chuck. I'm sure I'll take you up on that.
Okay, you got it. You got it. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. I hope this gives you a little bit an idea of what goes on behind the scenes when your corporate IT department calls and says, hey, we need you to cooperate with us a little bit. And I hope the IT people out there say, okay, I'm interrupting somebody, so they may be a little grouchy. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. you will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.